Jamie. So many shows and movies have pondered that life after death question, but the new NBC show Saving Hope takes a spin on what happens in between life and death, out-of-body experiences and spirits, so to speak. I don't want to give it all away, so right now we're going to talk to two of the actors from the show, Erica Durance and Michael Shank. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, okay, so in a nutshell, give us a synopsis of the show. I kind of hinted a little bit at it with the out-of-body experience, but in a nutshell, what is the show about?
Do it in a nutshell.
Well, your nutshell was really, really good.
I'm in a nutshell.
It is a medical drama with a twist. Basically, you enter the show following these two characters, our two characters, and we're in love and we're going to go get married, and he ends up in a coma. And that kind of sets the platform for everything that unveils itself throughout the series. And it asks all those questions. What do you do in your life? How do you maintain a sense of hope? And what happens to your belief structure when, tragedy strikes? And it's all about our characters trying to get back to each other. And intermingled, of course, the real world, which is what I'm in, is all the medical stuff that's going on, and then some of the cases that come in, they jump into Charlie's world. So it takes all that high-octane stuff that you can use to deal with in a medical drama and then just tilts it on its ear and gives it another viewpoint.
All right, I have a weird question. Michael, maybe I'll throw this one out to you first, and then Erica, you can jump in when you want. What are your guys' personal takes on out-of-body experiences and this whole spiritual world thing?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question again? I missed it a little bit.
What's your personal take on out-of-body experiences and the whole spiritual world in-between thing?
My personal take on it is I don't buy it. I don't buy it in real life. But in this particular case, when you are doing it, I mean, the character has to wrestle with whether or not it's part of his imagination, because he's not dead. He's not gone. He's sort of hanging around. He's kind of haunting the hospital and haunting her. Always, but he's not. He's not actually dead. He's actually still sticking around. He wants desperately to get back, and so he has to. He keeps interacting with all these other characters that have either just recently moved on, or are equally in a coma like he is, or are just about to pass on to the afterlife and where that might be. And so Charlie Harris, being a devout atheist, all of a sudden has to wrestle with his own spirituality as he goes forward too, because he's a practical person who believes in science and believes in what you can see, touch, and fix for the most part. And all of a sudden he's going, well, I guess this, he always believed that the soul was just part of the natural firing of the synapses in the mind, and now he's actually having to deal with philosophical issues. So he's wrestling with his own soul as he goes through this process, and and at the same time, frustratingly trying to get in touch with the people in the living world and communicate that he's still here and he's still loved, or he wants to be loved and still wants to come back to them.
All right.
For myself, I haven't had any personal out-of-body experiences, but conversely to my character, who's very pragmatic and linear thinking, as Erica, I'm one of those people that has a tendency to believe in the convicting stories that other people have had, and I believe that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And so I think that a lot of people will fall into that category occasionally, especially when they're forced to deal with something traumatic, because whether it's believable or not, whether it's really truthful or not for people, or whether it makes sense, something in you wants to believe that when somebody passes on, you can feel their presence and they're there. And if that's just to be comforting, I say don't judge it. So it's funny actually, because we have quite a different belief structure, but it's good. It creates the debate.
Yeah, it's compelling stuff, and I think it's really interesting that you guys have the converse opinions about it. So we know what goes on in front of the cameras and in the story, but I saw some clips of you guys having a lot of fun behind the cameras. You guys were getting really goofy. And even just now, before we came out to this interview, I saw you guys having fun with each other. So what's the dynamic like on set between the whole crew and cast?
It's great. I mean, Eric and I have known each other for, I think, eight, 9 years. Yeah, and I've managed to be able to watch her from the ground up, so to speak. I watched her from a little seedling into the giant tree that she is now. So we have a great dynamic. We've always been friends, and it's really great when you're playing this. We're both in our real lives. We're both married, and we have kids and everything like that. And so there's always that issue when it comes to working with someone in an intimate way, whether or not that trust is there, and we strongly have it. And you know, I'll speak for myself. The crew and everyone else on this show is wonderful. We have some fantastic supportive producers, and our writers are very much sort of following us along. So it's actually a really great group. I know you always hear that, but this is a really great group of people that are all rowing in the same direction. So it's a lot of fun, and I adore working with this girl. So it's great.
We do have a good time. I mean, it's also, you know, even to bring in the element, we're like kids, you know, you bring in the element of all the prosthetics and the blood and the this and the that, and it brings out the absurd in all of us. And so there's been a lot of really great moments, a lot of hilarity, and a lot of funny moments when, you know, because my character's not supposed to see his, but yet he's always like right there talking to me. So that's created a few moments for myself that are very absurd.
Who can't have fun with that?
Talking to the guy that's not there and all that. So yeah, it's been a really good time.
Oh, good, guys. Well, I'm sure your chemistry off camera will translate just fine on the show, which, by the way, we will catch the premiere tomorrow right here on NBC. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Still to come on Living Dayton, the original Celebrity Apprentice, Bill Rancic.